All right, everybody, we're ready to begin. Thank you all for coming. For the star-studded affair tonight, you all know me, Greg Lamberson, one of the two runners of the festival. My partner, Chris Cioli, is back there where he's going to be treated. The official hostesses of the show tonight are Kim Piazza, who works here at the station.
You really don't have to clap for us, that's okay.
Kim has a show she does here called What's the Buzz? And she's also on a daily talk show, Daily Buzz 716. Our other hostess is Connie McFadden, also known as Zelda, on the long-running syndicated movie show, Offbeat Cinema. I just wanted to say something about the TV studio we're in for a moment. This is the first year we're shooting in here. In past years we've had the awards in the theater, in the very dark theater in front. There was a year where we were all huddled around the papers with cell phones trying to read what was up. So it's nice to have some light. We want to thank John DeSciullo, the station manager who's on camera, for letting us be here. John is a very happy man, or at least on the outside. He's always positive. He's always helping us promote the festival. He's the host of one of the TV shows here, a game show called Bragging Rights. And I just want to quickly talk about this station. This is an affiliate of MeTV. That's where you heard all the old theme songs in the beginning. But the station owner, Phil Arno, does not like to show infomercials. So we have all of our very interesting local programming that originates right here. The Bragging Rights, the game show. They have a psychic who comes in, Psychic Connections. They brought back Beat the Champ, which was a classic bowling show from when I was a kid. And my favorite, and really when we pass it on the channels, we have to stop and watch it, Polka-Buzz. They have a polka show. So anyways, we want to thank John for letting us come in here. Now, for anyone who has never been to one of our presentations before, we give out a lot of awards, but we go fast. But we have three divisions. We have a US division, or North American because we include Canada. We have an international division, and we have a Western New York division. Whenever we can, we combine them, but there's still a lot. I'll be handling the special awards, which are awards we've, for the most part, already announced. Connie and Kim will be handling the other awards. And just for the sake of brevity, anytime we get to a category where none of the nominees are here, we're just going to read the winner and move on. So I will begin with the local special awards. Every year, well, this is the first year that we've had a Filmmaker of the Year award, and it will not always go to a local filmmaker. In this case, it does. This year's Filmmaker of the Year is Adrian Esposito. We showed two feature-length documentaries of his. One was Diffability Hollywood. The other is Greetings from Tromaville. Adrian has impressed and inspired everyone. He does have autism. It seems to have helped him as a filmmaker and not hindered him in any way. Anyone who's listened to him knows he's extremely knowledgeable about film. And those two documentaries we showed were damn good. Yeah. So, Adrian, please come up and Adrian is from
Thank you. So, yeah, thank you, Greg. It's a real honor to receive this award, and it's nice to know that my hard work has paid off and has entertained and informed people throughout the years, especially with these two new documentaries I did, Diffability Hollywood and Greetings from Tromaville. So thank you, Greg, and thank everybody who's come to support me abroad and wide. Thank you.
This is the 5th year we've been at a festival called Buffalo Dreams. We ran for 3 years before that as Buffalo Screams when we were just a horror festival. Since the very beginning, each year we've given 2 awards that we call the Filmmaker to Watch Award to people who have just really shown that they have something to move forward, either as artists or just as professional filmmakers. The first year, the first 2 people that we gave this award to were Sam Qualiana and Cash Costner. And during the last 8 years, they've worked on more movies than I have. So we take it seriously. The first of the Filmmaker to Watch Awards goes to Sebastian Godin, who's a young filmmaker from Canada. We've shown a few of his shorts, and he's just completed shooting his first feature, Lycanimator. And Sebastian loves horror, monster movies specifically. Where are you, kid?
We like to make people cry.
You do that without even trying, Greg. Just thank you very much. Greg was a huge inspiration to me when I first got started doing this, and still is. So to receive this from him here is pretty great for me. Thank you.
He may be tweeting like he is all day long, but please remember Chris. I don't want him getting sad back there. Our second Filmmaker to Watch Award goes to Christina Nokema, who is the mother of Adrian Esposito. And she has spent, don't run up here until I'm done. We want to speed things up, and not that much. She has spent a large part of her life encouraging Adrian and helping him with all his films. He has 7 movies on Amazon Prime. And she works out the deals and handles the producing, and for a lot of the films, she ran these films up on her credit card. And when they do documentaries, they travel around the country and actually meet and interview their subjects. They don't just ask them to send in a tape unless that's the only resource. But the interesting thing about Christina's story is that in the course of becoming a producer to support her son, she has now been hired by a group of Lithuanians, those crazy Lithuanians in Rochester, to do a documentary of her own about Lithuanians in Rochester. So through supporting him, she's become a filmmaker herself. Now you can come up, Christina. So this one is for the moms out there.
This was a total surprise. I really wasn't expecting this at all. I never expected to receive an award, but all I could say is, have faith in your kids and stand behind them, and great things can happen. And I'm hoping for Adrian that he reaches a more of a worldwide audience. His work is really great, and I've learned a lot from him. I learned how to make a documentary from him. So thank you very much.
Our local hero award every year goes to somebody who has helped not just 1 or 2, but many of the local film productions, who's always available to lend support, to lend a hand, to provide a location, to loan equipment, just somebody who goes above and beyond the call in helping other people without concern for themselves. And this year's local hero award goes to Keith Lukowski.
Thank you, Greg. I'm speechless myself here. I just love making films. I love supporting people and do whatever I can. You know that. I don't know how many times my house has been leased out, but...
Plus, Keith arranged the discount at the Cheesy Chick. Now, the final of our special local awards, I'm going to need Tim Clark to help me lift it because it's so big. So, can you believe it's been about 10 years?
It's a long time, man. Yeah.
Come closer.
Yeah.
So, of course. I remember when the previous film commissioner left, and the feeling was basically there will be no film commission. It's done. And the way things were going, that just kind of seemed like the normal way. And then Tim stepped in and sort of reinvented the job and created a real job security for himself. And has played a huge role in the production boom that we're all experiencing, and a lot of you don't even know about. But The Office, the one-man office has incredibly doubled as a two-man office to accommodate all these big films coming in town now. Each year we give a local service award to somebody who has helped this film industry grow, somebody who is like integral for things that are happening. This year that is going to Erie County Executive Mark Pollinkart, who works very closely with Tim, and I just asked him to help me say a few things about Mark.
Yeah, very quickly, I just want to say, if I could just pause here for a quick second, because there's two people that are really cool in the audience that keep coming back to Buffalo. One, you're going to see some of his movies, or his movie tonight, is famous director Fred Olen Ray from Los Angeles is here tonight. Thank you, Fred. I will also tell you that Fred is the most prolific living director on this planet, and that is a known fact. There's a biography being written now that he's participating in about his life and about I think the last couple of chapters of that book probably will really talk a lot about Western New York, hopefully, so we'll see. But he's here with Rebecca, his friend from Los Angeles. I also want to point out that Chris Olen Ray is here, and he is also a famous producer. Chris came to us 5 years ago with a little movie called Battle Dogs. I think a lot of you folks have seen it on Sci-Fi. He came here looking for an airport. We just happened to have one that was willing to turn itself over to you and your werewolf creatures and all of those kinds of things. But I will say that you are now back together shooting. What film is this now? In those, is it 8? Is this the seventh, 8th film in Western New York? So we really, really, truly appreciate you coming all the way from Los Angeles every few months. Chris has been here with Monique all summer. She's working on The Purge that's shooting in Buffalo, and I have to tell you that they have really made an impact here in this community. They started the thing rolling, and it really, really, we owe them a great debt of gratitude, I should say. But as Greg was saying, it is easy for an office, a film office, to take a little bow and say, oh, you know, we were able to help bring these movies here. But it's really not that simple. Our biggest funder and our biggest supporter is Mark Pollinkart, the Erie County Executive. And for those of you who are from out of town, you may not recognize him, but he's on television here locally quite a bit. He's quite a celebrity himself. We're going to get him in a movie soon. He's here with the Commissioner of Fun of Erie County, Joe McMahon, who actually has been in one of Fred Ray's great movies. He was a cop, and very appropriately in that movie he was killed off. So I just want to make sure everyone knows that. So yeah, exactly, Joe. Take a bow. So thank you very, very much to Buffalo Dreams. I will tell you, they started 5 years ago, and it has grown to this great international film festival, and it's a great, great example of how something is incubated and moved along. 5 years ago in Buffalo, in Erie County, $2.5 million of local spend. This year, we're calculating that it'll be north of 41 million. That's a lot of jobs, that's a lot of money, and that's a lot of great films that are being produced in Western New York. So thank all of you for coming here to participate in Buffalo Dreams Film Festival. We want you to come back and shoot your next movie here. Adrian, I want you especially to come back and shoot a great movie here. You're an inspiration to all of us. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it back to Greg Lamberson and Chris Cioli, who really run this festival and present your award.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Chris, for all that you do. I think it's apropos that what Tim just said about the growth of the film industry in our community. I know that for many of you, it's a labor of love, but it's a labor of love that can have not only a productive career for you, but for so many others. And And I know that Tim and Rich Wall over at the Film Commission work very hard every day to ensure that this labor of love for each and every one of you can be more than just a labor of love, but a tremendous career for you and others, and that's why we're so proud to support it. I know it's been a labor of love and career for you and others, and it just goes to show that what you can do even in your own backyard. People would have thought 10 years ago, Buffalo, Erie County, you want to film a production there? But because of the tremendous people that we have working in our industry here, it just shows it's successful. I also want to give a shout out once again to his official title is Director of Community Relations, but we affectionately really call him the Commissioner of Good Times, Joe McMahon, because if you've been on a if you've been on a movie set that involves anything associated with Erie County, Joe is the one who's making it happen. So whether it's one of the smaller films that are shot, or of course Marshall, which is now screening across the United States, there were a number of scenes that were done in county facilities, county assets, and I know Joe spent a tremendous amount of time in his office to make sure it was done and it was done right, and I want to thank Joe for making me look good. I appreciate it.
And now we'll turn the presentation over to our official hostesses, Kim Piazza and Connie Caldwell.
Hey, Connie Caldwell.
Hi, Kim. I actually did make my own copy because I don't like stapled documents. I like to go like this rather than like this.
Look. So, look. Just the way Connie likes it. Okay.
Fingernails. So anyway, without further ado, Tim,
shall we begin? Best Western New York Young Student Film goes to The Right Kids, A Boy Named Sue.
Okay, and the Best Young Student Film Award goes to Jillian Ludling for Sweet Pepper. Jillian is an actress who has appeared in Bridge of Spies as well as Tom Hanks' daughter, and is here from Delaware. Welcome, Jillian.
I wondered about this.
Thank you for everyone coming to see my film, and thank you to my parents for supporting me.
I want to say one thing about Jillian. It was funny when we did the Q&A for her film. I mean, she's got real acting credits out there, and I asked her why she did the thriller, and she said, well, I really wanted to be in a thriller, but nobody was casting me, so I had to do it myself. And we loved having her and her mother here, and we can't wait to see films from her in the future. We had so much fun having them here this weekend.
So Kim, I'll grab the next one.
All right, here we go. The next one, Best Young Student Animated Award goes to Lily Hits the Road. They are not present. Moving along to Best Animated Short, and nominated for Best Animated Short, Fierce, The Pine Tree Villa, The Servant, Light Slight, Lily Hits the Road, Murder Zone, and the winner is Fierce from France, and they're not present. Connie, should we move on to Best Micro Short?
Yes, why don't we?
All right.
The Best Micro Short. Do you want me to say the names of the?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a tough one, so you take it.
I always get the hard words. S. Rever, and Me Too 2, August Sings, Carmen Morena, Monster, Paul's Bad Day, Punch Andy, and The Summit. And the winner is Paul's Bad Day. He's not present. He's not present, so we'll just move on to the Best International Short, which is one, and that is Zona 84.
Okay. Best North American Short, Connie? Best North American Shot nominated: Breakers, Icarus, Imbroglio, The Last Hurrah, Slapface, The Tin Wife, and the winner is The Tin Wife, not present. Ooh, this one's present. All right. Best Western New York short. And the nominees are In the Death Room, No One Has to Know. Tales of the Darkened Light, A Friendly Wager. Wait. The winner is Tales of the Darkened Light, A Friendly Wager. Rick Mason.
Oh man, I always feel like Will Ferrell. I don't know what to do with my hands. I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for everybody who's here today. Being filmmakers, most of us in the room are filmmakers. It's part of our honor, duty, and privilege to show up and support events like this. So thank you everybody for being here, and thank you for this.
Best Western New York short, In the Death Room, No One Has to Know. Tales of Dark and Light, A Friendly Wager. Wait. And the winner is Tales of the Dark and Light, A Friendly Wager, Rick Macy. And he's present.
Did we just give him that award?
Bravo! Encore!
Oh, Rick, this is what you do with your hands this time. Ready? Yep.
There!
We gave him a second shot so we know what to do with his hands. And we kept it PG. But moving on. Best short feature, Tangent Room from Sweden, not present. Best short documentary feature, Piece Together, Julianne Donfrio. She's here.
Thank you. Wow, I'm really surprised. It's very humbling to be in the company of Adrian. Congratulations to you on being Filmmaker of the Year. I wish you the best with your career. Thank you to Greg and Chris for this amazing festival. I've learned so much this weekend, and I'm really proud to be in the company of all of you. So thank you.
So where are we? Best short family film, Princess Sparkly Butt and the Hot Dog Kid, Brandon Levine, Kimberly Persona. Kim, is that you, Princess Sparkly Butt?
I wish it
I look like you. I thought it was me.
Best title of a movie ever. Thanks so much. Yeah, this project was a real labor of love for our film family. So thanks so much for coming and watching me today. And we just wanted to say thank you to Greg and Chris. This festival has so much heart and charm, and the wings really were delicious at Duff's. So, thanks so much, guys.
And now we'd like to take a moment and introduce author Jeff Strand. Jeff is going to present the award for Best Unproduced Screenplay and Best Screenplay. So let's give Jeff a hand.
I'm not checking my phone. This is actually where I have the information. So unproduced screenplay, basically the beginning of the process where everything seems possible and reality has not yet begun to hit. The part where you create characters not knowing that the actor might quit the night before, where you still think you're going to get to do that hot air balloon chase, and everything seems wonderful. All right, I was one of the judges for the unproduced. Lots of great scripts in there. Our third place winner, Mummy Carnage. The script is by Joe Narodi, Mummy Road. Second place by Tracy Morse and Matthew Curry Holmes, Vampire Carnage, Self-Storage.
Sorry, didn't know
Yes, Matthew, it's true. The second place finishers do get a lovely digital file sent to your email address.
Thank you for reading it, because anyone who ever writes a screenplay knows that getting people to read is nigh impossible. So I appreciate it, and thanks for enjoying it. And hopefully we'll be shooting it this summer. So, thanks, everyone.
And first place, Looney Tunes style carnage in a community where no one seems to notice that it's a problem, Fairville by Mike Gerbino. And for Best Produced Screenplay, the nominees are Matthew Curry Holmes' Buckout Road, Martin Gooch, The Gatehouse, John Keyes, The Heroine, Jamie LaForest, The Heretics, Mickey Reese's Alien, and John Ford, Offensive. And the winner is Matthew Curry Holmes, Buckout Road.
Okay, now I'm going to start crying. Wow. I'm not kidding. I cry at AT&T commercials, so it's, I know. Gosh, first of all, want to say thank you to Greg and Chris for such an amazing, wonderful festival. The fact that we were chosen to come here is just a real honor, and to have met all of you wonderful filmmakers. I really do believe that a rising tide raises all ships, and for what it's worth, if I can help any of you, please call me and let's talk and let's just keep creating. This really means a lot. Thanks, guys.
Next up, we're going to bring Greg back because, you know, Connie, Greg does the special awards.
Oh, great.
Special.
But you can open them still.
Can we sit down?
Oh, thank you.
Alrighty. So, this award took a while to coordinate because Fred and Chris are making movies all the time, and we just didn't know what year they were going to be available and when we could get them over here. We're happy it finally worked out. They're both here on their day off. They're shooting a movie right now, and today's their day off, and they're showing movies tonight. So, first of all, thank you for them even making it possible. I don't like to inject myself into the awards, but for some of these I'm going to. The first time I saw the name Fred Olen Ray was in the pages of Fangoria. You can see Michael Gingold is over here. Back then when there was no internet, we actually had to wait months to get magazines. They had 3-month-old news in it by the time we read it. This particular blurb was about The Alien Dead with Buster Crabbe, which was Fred's second movie. His first movie, The Brain Leeches, cost only $298 to make. If Fred made that movie today instead of 30 years ago, and in Western New York instead of in Florida, he would see $89 back on the New York State tax film production credit. When I worked in a Times Square video store, I sold copies of Scalps, Biohazard, The Tomb, Armed Response, Cyclone, Commando Squad, and The Evil Spawn. I got a commission from the store, so I'm not coming to you with my hand out, Fred, tonight. I just want you to know I had my hands on your product when it was first run. When my first film played as a midnight movie, it played opposite Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers, which we're screening tonight. I just want everyone to try and think New York City at a time when you could have 2 movies screening at midnight in the same theater. Very different world. So we are excited to be screening Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers tonight at 8. Fred has directed TNA pictures, sci-fi films, children's films, Women in Jeopardy films, and Christmas movies. And he's provided Eddie Deason with some of his best roles. Looking at Fred's filmography, it's hard to believe he's only been making features for 3 decades. His IMDb page, which has a lot of catching up to do, lists 43 credits as an actor, 68 as a screenwriter, 98 as a producer, and 149 as a director. And that's not even mentioning his career as a professional wrestler. I've been on some sets with Chris and Fred, and what I love about being on them, even though I have such a lowly position when I'm on them, is I always know that when I have nothing to do, all I have to do is gravitate towards that director's chair, and I'm going to hear a great story. They usually begin with the words, you know. My favorite stories that Fred has told me involve shooting a movie in India, where he describes in detail how every family in town owns a piece of equipment, and you have to contract those families to get the equipment. I also enjoyed the story of him using the hovercraft from the Logan's Run TV series. And he solved the mystery of what happened to our mutual distributor who went to prison for murder. We present this award to Fred not only for his body of work, which includes Evil Toons, Dinosaur Island, and 13 Erotic Ghosts, but for shooting so many films in Western New York and helping put Buffalo on the movie making map. So we proudly present our first Living Legend Award to Mr. Fred Olen Ray. We showed a short film of Fred's a couple of years ago called Spedora, which I take it was a passion project. It was a wonderful film. My daughter loved it. And Fred's comment to me was, you know, you do some of these film festivals and all they do is send you this certificate. They don't even send you an award. So that was part of the motivation for us to upgrade from giving certificates to plaques. So anyone receiving a plaque tonight can thank Fred Olen.
I don't want to seem like I'm complaining. I didn't know this was going to be a roast. I've enjoyed my time here in Buffalo. I'd never even thought of Buffalo before, other than the Buffalo Bills, until I came here that one day at my son's suggestion that I could find snow here. And I got on the plane, it was 91 degrees. I got off the plane, it was -11. And I even went to East Aurora today. I go there every time I come here, and I revisit the people that helped me when I was making the shows there that I did. I go to Riley Street Station, I used to go to Wendy's Cupcakes, I go to Vidler's and I see Don, and I go around and I just say hi to the different people that have helped us. And as Greg said, you know, I've done a lot of shows, I've done a lot of kinds of shows. I used to say I'd done everything but light romantic comedy, but I've done that now. But I will say though that the one thing that I am most proud of is the career that my son has made for himself. And I never thought he would be a filmmaker because he seemed to have absolutely no interest in those little weird twists and turns. Thank you.
We just showed a horror film called The Harrowing, which was very intense. And our Dedication to Excellence in Filmmaking Award, which is not a new award, we give it out every year, goes to John Keys. John Keys is closely associated with the horror film genre because of the success of his first feature, American Nightmare, which starred Debbie Rochon. But he's worked in multiple genres and works regularly as a line producer and producer when he isn't writing and directing his own features. And he's worked with big names like James Franco and now regularly Michael Ironside. John's films are exceptionally well made and well acted, and his horror films have a level of maturity and sophistication often lacking in the genre. But he's no film snob. After all, he produced the films Bachelor Party Massacre and Romeo, Juliet, and the Shark. His directorial credits include Suburban Nightmare and Nightmare Box, and he's attached to direct The Final Curtain, The Last Days of Ed Wood. When he showed Nightmare Box here a few years ago, he told the audience it was a film he wanted to make just for himself, which is something that I always remember whenever I think of him. There aren't a lot of photos online of John, but when you can find them, they all show him smiling, and that's the person that I've known. Smiling all the time. He's one of the nicest guys in the world. He's so accessible, always willing to help, always willing to give advice. And it's just sort of a pleasure to watch a film from him, whether it's a horror film or science fiction, to see that he takes the subject matter so seriously and takes the craft so seriously. John's actually sort of an inspiration for what Chris and I are trying to do this festival. When we started up rebranding it, John and two other filmmakers from totally different areas came to town, and over the course of the weekend, they bonded, they went everywhere together, they went to eat, they watched movies, they supported each other, and to us, that's what a film festival is all about. And I always think about John and Don Thacker and Simon from UK, and how they really kind of set the bar for what we want to do with this festival. So he's an excellent filmmaker, he's also an excellent mentor, and we're very pleased that he came back for this film that we showed today. And the Dedication to Excellence in Filmmaking Award goes to John Keats.
Thank you very much. This is pretty special. It's kind of funny standing here 18 years later. When I started off as an entertainment journalist, and I was writing for a lot of genre magazines. I worked with Mike and with Fangoria and a lot of different places. And I had written a screenplay with the idea that I might sell it, not knowing any better. And Brink Stevens suggested I make it, and I made it. And the second day of filming, second day I showed up, the first day I went home, thought I was a complete disaster, thought I lost everybody their money, and cried myself to sleep, literally. And second day, I showed up to set and convinced that the entire crew, everybody was going to hate me. And I showed up on set, and everybody was singing, and everybody was having fun, and everybody was having a great time. And I was like, this is what I want to do the rest of my life. And as a journalist, I was really fortunate that I got to interview a lot of directors, and I listened to everybody. I listened to Fred probably doesn't remember it, but I interviewed Fred. You know, I mean, I took advice from everybody and applied it to everything that I do. And it's because of those interviews, and it's because of everything that people gave me that I've been able to do what I've been able to do. And so at the same time, I try to give back as well. And I tried to teach, and I volunteer at colleges and at Psych Conservatory, and I go and I just try to teach. And day in, day out, I live and breathe movies. This is all I've ever wanted to do. And even at the hard times, I remember David Cronenberg talked about somewhere early in his career, before he really hit it, he I'd wake up in the morning and I'd give up. And then I'd crawl myself across the bedroom and know I had to do it one more day. And that's what I've done. And I continue to do it on the bad days, and I dance my way out of the bedroom on the good days. So thank you so much for this, I appreciate it.
Smile, even though you're starving.
Lois Webb is the first female director in the U.S. and is recognized as a true pioneer. She directed 138 films between 1911 and 1934, and her last name wasn't even Ray. Among other things, she created the use of split-screen cinematography. We were discussing when we wanted to come up with this award, and we think it's kind of sad that in the world of film festivals and in covering films, that there's even a need to single out women specifically. You know, everyone wants to compete on the same playing field, but we know the reality, which is a lot of times attention just isn't paid to them. So I mean, our little contribution is we want to do this award every year, and we were so happy when Davy Snively submitted her film Bride of Frankenstein that we showed, because she's a perfect choice to inaugurate this award. Debbie has done short films primarily, she's done feature as well. Her films have screened at over 200 film festivals around the world. She's an adjunct professor at the University of Notre Dame. She teaches a course on horror there. Her films are very distinctive. She has an offbeat sense of humor. She likes to incorporate a feminism slant, and she loves to tackle horror tropes. I don't think she's ever going to leave the genre, and we like it that way. So the first Lois Webber Award goes to Davy Snively.
Yeah!
This really means a lot to me, and while it is unfortunate that during whereas when Lois Weber was directing, there was a year or two in her career where she was the most prolific filmmaker in Hollywood. And we're not seeing those numbers anymore. But what I will say is going to a lot of festivals, and it's actually over 300 now, and I say that not to brag, but to say that I go to a lot of them. And when I used to go, when I met you, and when I met John Keats, and I didn't even know that, I just put 2 and 2 together right now when I was hearing his story. I was frequently the only female director. I would show up and they'd ask me what movie I'd acted in. And that has changed. When I go to the film festivals, I met wonderful female filmmakers here, very young ones, which is very exciting too. And one thing that I really want to comment on that we don't talk about so much is that there have been some really incredible men that have helped us. We blame them a lot and say, oh, they're not letting us in. But I want to thank, first of all, the man that has helped me the most, my partner and my producer, Augustine Fuentes. And one of my greatest supporters, who continues to this day, Greg Lamberson, who I met at my very first festival. He looked at my little $100 short micro-budget SD video after I had watched his Slime City and was so blown away. And every step of the way, he's taught me a lot about the kind of filmmaker I want to be, and one of that is supporting other filmmakers of every gender, of every background, even of every genre. And it's so exciting to come to a festival that you and Chris have created that really embodies that spirit. And you can tell everybody here is just so generous and wonderful, supporting each other. So thank you, we're all in this together.
People, please update your website so I don't look foolish when I cite incorrect numbers up here. The Indie Genre Spirit Award celebrates filmmakers who make the kinds of movies we love because they love them too, without any thought of reward or any illusion that there's going to be some sort of critical appreciation. People who make movies about giant monsters, giant robots, people who dabble in all of these genres. This year's recipient of the Indie Genre Spirit Award is Chris Ray, AKA Chris Olin Ray, AKA Chris Olan Ray, AKA Christopher Ray, AKA Christopher Olin Ray, AKA Christopher Douglas, possibly AKA Christopher Douglas Ray. Chris grew up on the sets of his father Fred Olin Ray's movies. There are plenty of entertaining photos to prove it. He served in the Navy and is a U.S. contractor before working for the Asylum, which of those 3 was probably the most difficult challenge. He has produced, line produced, directed, and AD'd more films than IMDb can track. Movies like Bikini Chain Gang, Titanic 2, Two-Headed Shark Attack, His Favorite Mercenaries, and Circus Kane, which we're showing tonight after Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. We're honoring Chris tonight not only for his impressive genre output, but also for his contributions to the Western New York film industry. Chris produced Battle Dogs here 5 years ago, with a cast that included Craig Sheffer, Dennis Haysbert, Wes Studi, Ernie Hudson, and Bill Duke. At that point in the Buffalo film history, it had been a long time since The Natural. The Burning had been in 1982. Lloyd had done Poultrygeist, where, of course, everybody works for free. Chris came in and he was the first person making a commercial movie where he paid a lot of us and taught a lot of us how a set runs with protocol and the right way to talk on a walkie-talkie. So he gave a lot of people, just on that film, their first chance. Since then, as Fred mentioned, he directed Fred to come here for a Christmas movie. They're up to 8 films. He's up to 8 films total that they've done here every few months. They're all shown on cable. They're all widely distributed. People see them. I always laugh when I speak to someone who's just worked for Chris for the first time. Because 201, they are always intimidated by him. Maybe it's his military background, or maybe Fred was a drill sergeant as a parent, but I always laugh when people tell me this because I don't find it intimidating at all. You just have to see this guy with a body broken by football injuries walking around with his little dog in his arms on set, or with his daughter when she's in town for a film being shot in the summer, or to see Fred disciplining him on a set, always the dad. I do find him straightforward with zero time for BS. He's an honest player in a business filled with sharks. He's loyal to his friends, and he's willing to help any aspiring filmmaker who's smart enough to take his advice. And I'm happy to have this chance to thank him on behalf of all of the film people in Buffalo he's mentored while on the clock. So the Indie Genre Spirit Award goes to Mr. Chris Olin Ray. I'm only going to read one name. Also, by the way, Chris's friend Kayla, who works at Final Draft, told me he's not a toucher. He doesn't like to hug, and I hug him any excuse I have.
Well, thank you, Greg. We came here 5 years ago looking for our airport. We ended up driving all over New York State trying to find one. We finally got a hold of Tim Clark and asked about it, and it turned out Niagara was willing to basically shut the airport down for us. Since then, we basically come back, probably we're saying 7 or 8 times between myself and my father. We've also recommended other companies come. So with that being said, Western Europe has been great to us, and it continues to be, so we plan on coming back. So again, thank you guys very much, and I hope you guys enjoy the movie tonight.
And now we're back. Oh, that's the last one. Okay, so we're back to the regular awards.
Next up, Best Actor. Rye Barrett for Art of Obsession, Rye Barrett for The Heretics, Sean Carmichael, Trinity, Russell Floyd, Offensive, Ford Austin, Six Pack Sam, and Matthew Tompkins, The Harrowing. And the winner is Ford Austin, Six Pack Sam.
I just saw a screening of The Harrowing. I was sure I could just throw my speech out the window. It was an amazing film, and this guy was an amazing actor and a great performance. I just gotta say, so 6 years ago I was in a wheelchair, paralyzed, and 5 years ago, this guy shows up at my hospital. I'm able to walk at that point, and brings me his books. I've never met him in person in my life. And then 4 years ago, I met Mr. Martin Landau, who took me under his wing, and Marty became my mentor and took me into the Actors Studio, and I recovered because of his support. So I just want to say, man, it's like all of us supporting each other as artists and talented people. I met Adrian, who's amazing, and your films are amazing, and I can't wait to work together. That goes for all of you guys. And God, it's been such a long road. And I gotta thank your wife, and I gotta thank Chris, and I grew up on your movies, and your movies I'm still growing up too, so. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for watching.
That was really nice. Well, Best Actress. We'll see if Best Actress isn't present. We'll be able to top that.
Lisa Eichhorn for Offensive, Nina Kira, The Heretics, Sarah Beck-Mather, Charismata, Kate Hoffman, Get My Gun, Jessica Cameron, The Song of Solomon, Dominique Provost, Chalkley, Buckout Road. And the winner?
Nina Kirin, the Heretic, not present. Best Action Feature, Montrak, Germany, not present. Best Animated Feature Film, Borley Rectory, not present. Best Experimental Feature Film, Mickey Reese's Alien. Present, question mark? No. Best Science Fiction Feature, Darken, from Canada, not present. Moving on to Best Comedy Feature.
And we have the 60-Yard Line, 6:66 p.m. Return to Newcomb High, aka Volume 2. Mercy Christmas, and the Velocipaster. And the winner is
6:66 p.m. Chad Whitney.
Thank you so much. This is great. I'm so excited about this. This such a great and receptive film community here in Buffalo, and this is our second year here, and we're just so excited. The Buffalo Dreams Fantastic Film Festival truly is fantastic. Greg, Chris, thank you so much. Such a great festival. If you're wondering what the X on the podium for, it's because X marks the spot. If you're making a film and you want a receptive community and supportive filmmakers to share that with. Thank you so much. If you didn't have a chance to see 6:66 p.m., it's getting its video on demand release on Tuesday through Lionsgate, so please check it out.
Best Documentary Feature,
Diffability Hollywood.
Wow, two awards in a row. Well, I forgot to thank my mom last time because, and congratulations on receiving your first award, Mom. And I just want to say, you've done a lot for my life, and I appreciate everything that you have done for my life. And again, I'm very glad that Greg Lamberson and many other people and you guys out there are supporting independent work, especially my work, hard work and sweat and tears. And I am hoping to work with both you, Fred and Chris Ray, sometime in the future. And I am honored to work with you, Ford Austin. So thank you.
Best Drama Feature, Good Times Never Come, Immortality, from Iran. Oh dear, I'll make you pronounce that one.
Thank you. Palliadawasi.
Close enough.
From India. Palliadawasi. Trinity. And there are two winners. And the best drama is Trinity, Skip Shea, and best international drama, Immortality.
From Iran.
I'm glad you were able to make it. He was going to come tomorrow.
But this is an unbelievable surprise. It was an honor just to get into this festival. This has been a goal of mine to get into this festival, and here I am. Trinity is about a young man who was in a coffee shop and accidentally runs into the priest who abused him when he was a child. And that's actually based on my life story. And that actually happened to me. I ran into the priest who abused me, and he said, "Hey, how you doing?" And winning this award here, I don't know, does anybody follow him on social media? That makes this award that much more special, because I don't know anybody who stands up for children's rights, women's rights, and human rights thing right. So thank you, Greg. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you for saying that about Greg, by the way. And the next one, Best Family Film Feature, Thrill Ride, Chris Parrish.
It happens every year. There's one that doesn't get made. We get a duplicate. Sorry, we thought we had it. Please come forward. There was never any question. We wrote this one.
Okay, well, thank you. It's like Charlie Brown on the Rock. That's I want to thank Chris and Greg so much, and the whole Buffalo Dreams gang this weekend for coming out, and you guys for coming out and supporting Thrill Ride. The story is from my son Mason. He came up with the idea for the movie, and we lost him to cancer in 2011 when he was 10 years old. And after he died, my wife and I wanted to come up with a way to honor his memory. And so we thought, well, you know, Mason, who was this really prolific writer, when he passed, oh, you found it! Oh, thank you. Okay. When he passed away, he just left stacks and stacks of stories and notebooks of cartoons and everything. And so my wife Lisa and I wanted to come up with a way to honor his memory, so we thought, well, let's take one of his stories and turn it into a movie. And so we met with this local benefactor, and we basically said, hey, we want to do this adventure movie, kind of like the Goonies, that should probably cost about $50 million, but we're going to try and do it for about 1% of that. And the guy's like, I'm in, and he wrote us a check. And so because of people like that, and Kristen Johnston, who started the movie and literally gave her paycheck to us to get the film finished, and Lucas J. Zuman and Tim Kazurinsky, we were really able to kind of do this thing that just wasn't really possible, and it became possible. And now Thrill Ride is available for pre-order on iTunes and Amazon with the December 12th release. The last thing, what we're doing with this movie, and this is something that hopefully more movies are going to do, is pediatric brain tumor research just doesn't get squat in terms of funding because it's so rare until it happens to your child. And so 50%, 50 cents of every dollar that Thrill Ride makes is going to go towards funding pediatric brain tumor research and providing handicapped accessible vans to families who have children who are dealing with catastrophic illnesses. And the other 50%, the other 50 cents of every dollar that we make is going to go towards making the next family movie based on Mason's mandate, where the kids are the heroes, which he really is in this. And so hopefully we can just kind of keep the process going and going, because if the pharmaceutical communities and our government don't give a shit enough to finance the cancer research that needs to be done to literally save our children, then maybe us artists can. So thank you very much.
So, best foreign feature.
Go to my head.
You go to my head. Belgium, France, and Germany. No, they're not here.
I just saw that's one of my favorite standards. Best fantasy feature, Dominica.
The Gatehouse.
Princess Sparkly Butt and the Hot Dog Kid.
Thrill Ride.
And the winner is?
The Gatehouse. Not Carson. Best Horror Feature.
Buckout Road.
Circus King.
The Harrowing.
The Heretics.
And the winner is?
Matthew Curry Holmes. Buckout Road.
First of all, Chris, dude. This is my first feature film that I directed. I'm sorry, I'm still really emotional by what you were saying. So I would just like to start another round of applause for this man right here. I wasn't expecting any of this coming to this film festival. As a father to an 11-year-old who's thankfully so healthy, I just want to say that you're really inspiring and that I consider your film pre-ordered today on iTunes. Thank you for this. You know what? That'll be my time. Just thanking Chris. So.
Best International Horror Film.
Dogged.
Not present.
Not present. Best Micro Budget Feature.
The winner is 3 Dead Trick or Treaters. Not present.
And the best Retro Feature.
Get My Gun. Ryan Wells.
I don't know. When I came here, Greg gave me a badge. I was like, that's cool. And then Chris gave me a box of donuts, and I was like, this is awesome. And I didn't think anyone would give me anything better. And I got this. So thank
you. Best Thriller Feature.
Art of Obsession.
Get My Gun.
The Lone Paddler.
Offensive.
Six Pack Sam.
You go to my head.
And the winner is?
Offensive. Not present. This is my favorite category.
Say it.
Best WTF Feature. We know what that stands for, right? Maybe you should tell them, Connie.
I don't know.
Okay. The Song of Solomon. Not present.
For children in the place. Best Director.
Ashley Thorpe. Borley Rectory.
Matthew Curry Holmes. Oh, I'm saying the whole thing. Matthew Curry Holmes, Buckout Road.
I'm sorry, Connie. Martin Gooch, The Gatehouse.
We were switching so far for a minute there.
Sometimes I get lost.
John Keyes, The Harrowing.
Chad Archibald, The Heretics.
And Jonathan Ford, Offensive.
And the winner is?
Chad Archibald, The Heretics.
I think this one's Greg's.
No, let's have Chris do this. Come on up, Chris. You can't hide back there all night. So this year, Best of the Fest goes to The Heretics from Black Fawn Films. And they're not here. They're really a family-oriented team, and there's someone in the family that's very ill, so they didn't come down to Buffalo this year. I know it seems like that was a lot of awards, but we're showing 110 movies, so really a lot of people got left out. We wish we could have done something for everyone. So many great movies this year. We really want to thank everybody who's here right now, all the filmmakers, press, media, family. Really, so many people turned out, and there's a real warm feeling about this festival, and it's really because of all the people who come, not because of what we do. And we're really going to miss Jillian and her mom. It was great having you here. Thanks for coming, everybody.